Good evening, students. So in our previous lecture we were discussing about measurement of length, mass and time, and order of magnitude I already have explained to you people. Now students, we are going to go a little further and we will discuss few more topics of this chapter. So now we will discuss about measurement of lengths. Order of magnitude was clear to you people. If any doubt, let us solve it for one more. Suppose we have 0.049. What will be its order of magnitude? We can write it as 0.49. If we will write this 0.49, so this will be into 10 power minus 1. If we will write this 4.9, then it will become 10 power minus 2, and which is correct because this number should be between 0 and 5. So order of magnitude for this number will be minus 2. So I hope that order of magnitude is clear to you people. Now let us discuss about measurement of length. So student, how we can measure out length? So we are having few methods. Number one is a meter scale. Normally we use this a meter scale, and what is the range of this meter scale? That is from 10 power minus 3 meter to 10 power 2 meter. Now suppose students, we have to measure comparatively less distance. Okay, means a very smaller length we have to measure. Then we use a vernier calipers, and this is in your syllabus in physics lab. When schools will be open, I will show you that vernier calipers, and we will discuss it in brief. In practical examination, here in theory, that is enough. Vernier calipers is a device which can measure a very small distance, and this can measure up to 10 power minus 4 meter. So this you have to remember. The range of each kind of device should be well remembered by you. Now students, the third one is a screw gauge. This is little bit similar to that of the vernier calipers, and this is ranging from up to 10 power minus 5 meter, up to 10 power minus 5 meter. Now students, these are the direct method. Means suppose I have to measure the length of this pen, I have a scale and I have measured it. Suppose I have to measure the thickness of this, I have a vernier calipers and I have measured it. I have a screw gauge and I have measured it. So these are direct method. We are measuring directly. So right now we are going to discuss few indirect method for measuring out the length. Indirect methods. So these are going to be very important, indirect methods. So you have to actually just go it with very serious manner. And in indirect method, the very first method which we are going to study on today is parallax method. Parallax method. So that is a new thing for you people. What is parallax? Have you observed any time that whenever you watch out any object from left eye or you watch out the object from the right eye, so there is slightly lateral shift in the position of that object. If you haven't noticed, just do it right now, this activity. Firstly, turn means one eye should be open, means by your left eye you are watching it, and another time you are watching this notebook by your right eye. So you will find when you are watching it from left eye, when you are watching it from right eye, so there is a lateral shift and this will form one angle. So for better understanding, suppose here is your position of left eye and here is your position of right eye. Suppose the distance between left eye and right eye is B, and you are watching a particular object which is here. So I am writing this as O. When how you will watch out this object? So one ray will go from left eye to this. How you will watch out this object from your right eye? So one ray will go, and this is how you will watch out. So one angle will be formed between these two rays, and this angle theta is known as parallax angle, and the distance between left eye this left eye and right eye is known as basis. Okay, if any confusion is there in the spelling, so I have written this basis. Okay, and which angle is parallax angle? That is angle LOR. So this method is going to be very important, and that is parallax method. So if suppose we know the value of basis and we know this angle, then this can help us to calculate these distances. As I have just considered this object in the middle, so that is why these two distances means, suppose this is x from left eye, then this is going to be x from the right eye as well, as I have considered the object just in the middle. So I hope you understood this. Now how this parallax method can be very useful tool for calculating out the distance indirectly. We are not measuring it directly. So how this will help out? So let us proceed in the second page. So students, if any confusion is there, because I am going to solve it mathematically, so let us draw this figure once again. So there should not be any confusion. Left eye, right eye, this is object, this is parallax angle. Parallax angle. And distance between left eye and right eye is known as basis, and here we have written it as B. This distance we have considered x. Now students, LR is, what is LR? LR is arc of length B. And what is the radius LO? And radius LO is x. Radius LO is equal to RO, which we have assumed in this figure as x. So what is the value of theta? Theta will be equal to B upon x. There should not be any confusion. Angle is equal to arc upon radius. So radius is this x, and this LR is considered to be the arc. So theta is equal to B upon x, and this is the value of parallax angle. Suppose knowing B and measuring theta, knowing B and measuring theta can help us to calculate x. So now students, you can understand the fact. This angle we can measure out. We have watched one object from left eye, then we have watched the same object from the right eye. So one angle will be formed, at that angle is parallax angle. So this angle is known to us. This distance between left eye and right eye is known to us, and by this formula, if two physical quantities are known to us, the remaining means x can be calculated, and this is the distance. So now students, you can understand that we haven't measured this distance directly. We have used one indirect method, and this method is known as parallax method. So this is one of the very important topic in this particular chapter, so don't forget. Now you will come to know the application of parallax method just now. Okay, so where you are going to study about the application of this parallax method, and yes, this angle is parallax angle. One more name is, that is parallactic angle. You should be familiar with both the names, parallactic angle. So remember both these names. Now students, we are going to use this parallax method, means this is going to be the application of parallax method, which we are going to do right now. The parallax method has been used. The parallax method has been used for measuring distances of stars which are less than 100 light years away. So students, we can measure the distance 100 light years. This L is light away. So by using parallax method, we will calculate the distances of planets and even the stars. So how we will use this method? So let us understand this, and because there is very less space here in this page, so I am solving it in another page. So I am drawing a figure, you will understand it well. So students, what is this? How we will measure out the distance of a planet. Suppose students, let me draw the figure, then I will explain to you people. Okay, so suppose students, we have to measure a particular planet which is in this position n. Okay, and how we can measure this distance n? So we are going to use one method. Suppose this point is A, we are somewhere and we have measured only one thing. We have to measure this. Okay, we have measured only one thing, and that is the angle of this planet with respect to Earth. Suppose right now I am here in Kicha, okay, and from Kicha I have measured the angle of any star from Earth. Okay, this point is suppose Kicha, and we have measured the angle of this planet from Earth. How we have measured? And this angle is actually we have considered from vertical. So imagine a line. Imagine a line. Okay, and for imagining this line, what we can do? We can consider a very far object. This object is comparatively much far away from this particular object for which we are going to measure out the distance. So remember, these rays which I have drawn straight are coming from a very infinite distance object, and whenever there is a ray of light coming from an infinite distance object, that will never change. Suppose I am in Kicha, it will remain here, and suppose I am in Haldwani, then even the ray will remain almost straight. You can take out one example. For example, suppose you are in train and you are watching that one object is, suppose one tree is there and which is very near to you. Then when it comes near to your window, then that tree will be passes away very quickly, shut, and that is gone. And suppose you are watching an object which is slightly away, means far away from the window, then you can watch out that object for a very longer time. So in similar way, means that ray are coming almost straight to you. Your position is changing. Obviously the train is moving, but still the position of that object is not changing a lot. So this will happen when these ray of light are coming from a very far distance. So we can imagine that these will remain straight. So we have measured this angle with the vertical. So vertical rays, you already know, these are coming from a very long distance, and these are ray coming from comparatively, means this object is very near comparatively. So suppose this angle we have measured, and this angle we found, that is theta 1. How we have measured one angle? We have so many tools, like we have any microscope, we have any telescope. By using the telescope we have measured this angle. So we found that the position of this telescope while you are watching this object was like this, and you found that this angle is theta 1. So we have calculated this angle theta 1. Now students, suppose I draw one imaginary line here. Okay, now this angle is theta 1, and this imaginary line, what is the property of this imaginary line? Let me tell you of the property. This is parallel to this line. So if this angle is theta 1, by alternate interior angle, this also will be theta 1. Fine. So we have this angle. Now students, suppose we waited for 6 months. I have measured this angle of this object, and later on, suppose I have sleep. I am going for sleep. I am a Kumkaran and I have sleep for 6 months. And later on, after 6 months, I am just again starting my work. And because Earth will complete its one revolution in 12 months. So after 6 months, what will be the position of Earth? So answer is, this will be the position of Earth. And later on again, because if I have considered that object which is very far away, so still the ray of light I will find that are coming straight. Yes or no? So these ray of light will remain straight for me. And again, what I have done, I have measured the angle. Obviously the position of us has been changed as position of Earth has been changed. So the angle obviously will be changed. So we found later on, suppose this angle will found to be theta 2. And if this angle is theta 2, by alternate interior angle, this angle will be also theta 2. So we have both these angles. So if this is theta 1, this is theta 2, what will be total angle? Theta, total parallax angle. So students, total parallax angle, we already have this angle, and that will be equal to, theta will be equal to theta 1 plus theta 2. Fine. So we have this value. Now what is the formula for angle? Angle is equal to arc upon radius. if we just watch it out this figure, so theta 1 plus theta 2 is equal to, what is the arc is AB, and what is the radius, and that is the distance we wanted to measure. So this is the radius, as you can see, this is the radius AN, or you can say BN. Both are equal, so you may consider any one of it. So what will be the value of AN from this equation? AN will be AB upon theta 1 plus theta 2. Now students, if we use our concept, then AB is known to us. AB is a known value for us, because we already know that how much distance Earth will cover in 6 months. So suppose this is AB is equal to 2 astronomical, 2 AS, that is equal to 2 AU. So this distance is 2 into 1.5 into 10 power 11 is equal to 3 into 10 power 11 meter, and this angle will be known to us because both the angles we have measured, we only have to add these angles. So angle is known to us, this arc is known to us, and radius will be calculated. So by using this parallax method, we can measure this radius. And what is the radius? Radius is the distance of this particular planet from Earth. Have we measured this angle directly? Means, have we measured this distance directly? No. We have measured the angle, and this parallax angle helped us to calculate this distance. So these such kind of methods are known as indirect method of measuring of length. This parallax method is used for measuring distances of nearby stars only. Okay, so I hope you understood this method, and this will help you a lot. Now students, let us discuss another applications of parallax method. And what about notes? I hope you understood this topic by this lecture, and for notes you already, I have shared the notes, so you can just write it from that notebook. Now students, let us discuss another topic for this chapter, and means parallax method, any other application, that is size of an astronomical object. Size of an astronomical object. So this parallax method may help you to calculate the size of an astronomical object. How this method will help you? So let us understand this. Suppose we have because one planet will be obviously spherical, and this is Earth, and from Earth by one telescope, suppose this is the diameter of this particular planet, and by using one telescope we have measured this angle from Earth. This is Earth, we have measured this angle. Okay, this angle is parallax angle, and this is S. Okay, now students, what will be the value of AB? AB will be equal to S into theta. You can understand this. Angle is equal to arc upon radius. So students, by using this, AB can be calculated. Means this diameter will be calculated, and this can help. And you will say that arc, this AB is the arc, this AB is the diameter. So let me tell you, when you are taking out, considering an object which is very far away, then diameter and this arc will be considered equal. So by this method we can measure the size of an astronomical object. This is another application of parallax method. Now students, after discussing all these topics, we are going to discuss few more topics relevant to this chapter. So after measuring all distances, let us discuss about measurement of time intervals. Measurement of time intervals. How this parallax method can help you to calculate the time interval. Actually, you can measure out the time by using electric oscillator. What is oscillator? Actually, earlier when there was no pattern of clock, then such oscillations were very important. Okay, by these oscillations, such oscillations, we were calculating the time interval. AC supply in India is 50 Hertz, if you know the value. AC supply 50 Hertz. So what is the meaning of this? In 1 second, the current, electric current will revolve for 50 times. There will be 50 number of waves passing in 1 second. So this can help, okay, to measure out the distance, to measure out the time. Another one is electronic oscillator. Okay, This is used in PN junction, vacuum tubes. This all you will study later on. So these are not the kind of topic which you must study right now. Solar clocks are there. There are the pattern for measuring the time is atomic clock. There is radioactive dating. So these such topics are not included in your syllabus. So I hope this segment of the chapter has been already completed. We can discuss one or two numerical based on the same. Even you may solve the numericals based on parallax method. So students, this is going to be enough for today. Thank you. God bless.